Welcome to Kim Talks Resilience, where we share stories of insight and inspiration in life, love, and business with resilient women from around the world. Speaking with authors, entrepreneurs, founders, and coaches to learn their strategies for a more resilient life so we can all build the life we love. I'm your host, Kim Hayden. So I'm really excited to share with you today a friend of mine who inspires me. One of the kindest women. She has such a beautiful voice. She makes you just feel like you want to curl up with a cup of tea and just lean in. This gal is awesome. You're in for a treat. Cari Frame is a certified coach and writer with a lifelong study of, get this, self-kindness. She believes in self-kindness's transformational power. So let me just recap this. A lifelong study of self-kindness, which we all need, and the transformational power behind it. The beauty resilience born from struggle has compelled Cari's words to the page since she was in her teens and forms a foundation for her coaching program and workshops. Everything is possible when we bring kindness to ourselves. So this is a really important topic for us to lean into. Welcome to the show, Cari.
Thank you, Kim. I'm so glad to be here with you.
Well, I'm excited for people to know one of the kind of superheroes behind everybody always goes, Kim, how do you get everything done? And it's like, if it wasn't for surrounding myself with amazing people like Cari, I guarantee you it would not get done. So, Cari, let's just start real simple. Give us who is Cari? I can, were you the kid eating mud pies or, like me, you can't ride a bike? Tell us a little bit of who is Cari?
The first thing I think that comes to mind is I'm so many things all at the same time. Um, at this stage of my life, I am a business owner. I am a certified coach, writer. I'm a mom. I still think of myself as an adventurer. I'm always looking for something new and interesting to do. I am a goof. I howled at the moon this morning, and my girls were like, "Oh my God, Mom! Like, why are you like this?" So yeah, I would say I'm a lot of things, but there's a core there, a pretty solid core that's always at the helm, and that's kind of what you said in the intro, which I was so touched by, because it's that kindness to myself, and which then of course extends out to everyone that I can reach with it.
And that's something that I know we're going to touch upon in our conversation here because uh, we're the meanest to the people that we should be the kindest to ourselves, our partners, our friends, our kids, and watched a really good talk by Dr. Jody Carrington, who, if you folks don't know who she is a what we kind of deem as one of our local celebs here in Alberta. She's an amazing coach when it comes to understanding the neuroscience and dealing with children. She started on the whole child track. Um, but she was talking about the dysregulation and the space that seems to be really a very kind of a dark hole for a lot of people. So I want to lean in right now into what you do as a self-kindness coach. What is a self-kindness coach? And walk me through not only what a self-kindness coach is, but how you serve people and what they can expect. How's that sound?
Great.
And I won't interrupt. I'm going to actually vacate the room, folks, and turn the stage over to you, Cari. And then I'm going to dive in and start asking lots of questions.
Okay, sounds good. Self-kindness coach is a certified coach. So I have lots of skills and tools that I bring to clients to help them connect to the strength within themselves. So I'm not like a sport coach or a mentor or something where I give advice or, give someone the instructions on how to live their life. That's not it. It's time to pull back. When I'm with clients, it's time for them to sort of pull back from their life for a moment and just check in with themselves. How am I doing? Where am I at these days? Where is my head at? Where is my heart at? Where's my body at? And the key to the self-kindness coaching is that it is a completely judgment-free place. And that practice of just getting curious about yourself with no judgment, right? Like it's actually a muscle that we are just so not used to using. We're used to using it for other people, right? Like when you have a dear friend who is struggling, you don't look at them and go, God, what the hell is wrong with her? Like, why is she screwing everything up right now? We look at that dear friend and we go, wow, what is going on in her life right now that this is what's happening, right? So the work I do with clients is creating that space where they can get curious about themselves and really understand what's happening. And that's the ground from which true life-changing solutions come from. And it's a practice over time. Sometimes it's a lightning bolt and sometimes it's a slow burn of awareness that like, oh, wow, I actually do deserve to be happy, or I deserve to take myself off the shelf and make my needs more of a priority. And I work with men and women, all genders, and it's really transformative work, and it's very safe, but progressive too. Like it's always coming down to action. We talk a lot of ideas, but there's always some kind of action that they get to put in their lives to make a difference. I think that's important.
So yeah, absolutely. So let's talk action.
Yeah.
What's one thing somebody could do each day?
Yeah.
Give me a tip.
Yeah.
Somebody could do. Either it's a tangible that they see every day, or it's a touchstone, or it's a meditation. Give me an exact practice that we could do. One thing.
I love it. I'm all for this kind of thing. So right off the bat, it needs to be something that fits in the person's life, right? We're not adding something extra. So I always recommend piggybacking something like this on with something you're always already doing. So for some people, this could happen while they're brushing their teeth or while they're having their morning coffee. One that I love is while I'm in the car by myself, because usually, or on the bus, right? So what it is a moment, and it can literally take 2 minutes to check in with yourself. And so all you're doing, let's say you're brushing your teeth and you're like, oh yeah, brushing my teeth, this is my moment. So you're simply asking yourself, how am I doing right now? How am I doing right now? There's no judgment. You're not fixing a problem, right? You're not seeing yourself as like this messy thing that has to get cleaned up. You're just simply looking within and going, how am I doing? And then you wait for the answer. And it can take 30 seconds. It can take no time at all. Like it all depends. But I promise you, if you give yourself that moment of inquiry, something will come up. And either your mind or your heart or your body will be like, I'm stressed, or I'm tired, or I'm excited, or I'm scared, whatever it is. And it's like, oh, that's where I'm at. That's why my head is spinning, or that's why I'm thinking about crawling back into bed because I'm scared. Or do you know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
start to understand yourself. And once you understand yourself, you can say, okay, how can I bring some little bit of kindness to wherever I'm at right now? Whatever it is, right? Like I'm nervous. Like this morning, I was nervous about doing this talk with you, and I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. This is important. What can I do to bring kindness to myself? Something tiny, right? And it can be something as small as taking 5 breaths before moving on to the busyness of your day, or texting a friend and going, "Oh my God, I'm nervous. Tell me I'm gonna do this well," or something, right? It can be something so tiny, but it's the check-in that makes the difference, because it can be amazing to me sometimes. People can go years, literally years, without actually pausing and really just tuning into themselves. And
Yeah.
I was like that once too, right? So I get it.
There's actually a lot to unpack there. I love the fact that you shared that you were nervous this morning. Nervous and fear are
Yeah.
literally just a stone's throw away.
Oh, yeah.
And fear is the number one thing that causes us or stops us from
Mhm.
excelling to the next level, going where we really could go. And it's so important. It's so very important if you can lead, if you can step it up a notch, if you're mentally and emotionally able to move to that next level, it is critical in today's world that you do move to that next level because a simple stone throw creates ripples and those ripples
Mhm.
upon ripples upon ripples upon ripples. So one person that you're kind to,
Yeah.
starting with yourself,
Yeah.
creates a ripple out that can affect 4 or 5 people, that creates the next ripple out that can affect 10, 20 people. And we've seen these in commercials. We've seen this whole thought process out there. But we tend to sabotage ourselves.
Mhm.
And that's that self-kindness, and that I know, we have that whole manifest it and mindset and all these other things, but at the core of it, if you don't like the person you're promoting,
Mhm.
then it's really hard to move forward.
Mhm.
Let's talk about this in how it affects people's businesses and entrepreneurships. We know that women are bootstrapping, most women are bootstrapping their businesses. They're underfunded, they're overworked. We know that the banks traditionally will be less than 5% of their funding to new businesses go to women.
Hmm. I didn't know that.
Oh, it's pretty brutal.
Mhm.
Pretty
Yeah.
brutal when you think about it. So
Wow.
when we think about this, and we go back to that self-kindness, and we're building up those strengths, right? What are some things a businesswoman, what are a couple things that you could say or do?
Mhm.
So we've talked about the self-kindness with our personal self.
Yeah.
How do we do the self-kindness with our professional self?
Yeah. That's a great extension of the kindness. So, let's say, for example, let's take the bank loan example. Something where you're reaching to the next level, and there can be thoughts in your head that are saying you're going to get turned down, you don't deserve this. They're going to say no, you haven't built your business enough. All these self-limiting thoughts, right, that can literally stop you from moving forward to getting that loan, or saying yes to being part of a book, right? Um, what women in business can do is notice that self-limiting belief. And I always recommend, like, pull it out of your head. Like, literally, my thoughts are trying to tell me that I can't do this, that I don't deserve this. That's what my head is trying to tell me right now. And then what you can do is look at it from a critical, fact-based position. Is that really actually factually true? Because what it usually is, it's like Fox News in your head. It's total conjecture. There's no basis in fact whatsoever. If I believed my head this morning, it was saying, you can't be on a podcast like this. This is too much for you. You're not at this level. So I pull that thought out and I say, that's what my head is trying to tell me. Is that really true? And what I came to was, well, I mean, I've done podcasts before. They might not have been as big as Kim's, but they're podcasts, and I did okay. I speak, I run workshops every single week in front of tons of people. So I actually think the facts show that there's a good chance I can do this. And what you can actually do, and this is if you have a little more time, let those facts sink into your body. Literally feel how real they are in your body. Let your muscles loosen. Let your breath open with, yeah, actually that's who I've been. That's who I've been. I've proven that to myself before. Oh, okay. Now I'm ready to step forward. And so you see how you're choosing where your actions are coming from. And the kindness gets in there and helps you choose your actions based on the facts of who you've always been, rather than the Fox News in your head.
Yeah, exactly. Most of what we think about ourselves is not at all what other people think of, of you. It's pretty interesting.
That's a good.
Except for, did you know this is what's interesting? And I think this is maybe what contributes to women not getting as much funding is that they did a study of personality trait commonalities of top CEOs globally, right? So like
Okay.
the old Steve Jobs and stuff,
Yep.
narcissist. It was the number one
Yeah.
common denominator. So, and we know that narcissists believe that the rules don't apply to them, that they can say whatever they want, that they're worth whatever they ask for, so forth. So they don't have those
Yeah.
fear. They don't have the template of fear. Maybe they're not practicing self kindness, but they're practicing something around ego.
Right.
So when we're looking at um, let's talk about the leveling up business wise and the self kindness. What is one strategy is there? Do you have a journal? Do you track anything? Do you have a coach? Like, what are some of the things that you recommend? Because the reality is, women, and this is, I'm sorry, ladies, I'm going to call you on this. The reality is you guys always sit there and go, oh, I'm not going to spend money on a ticket to this. I'm not going to spend
Right.
money on that. And because we all look at the limiting, I don't have money. We
Mhm.
don't look at, okay, how do I make money? If I do this, what am I going to do with this to leverage to generate money? And you know what, ladies, we can all go, I would do this even if I wasn't getting paid. Well, the bank likes us to get paid because bank requires money for us to have a roof over our head. And
Yeah.
most people want to be led by somebody who has a house or an apartment, has a roof over the head. They don't typically want to be led by somebody who is so bloody broke they're on the street. Living under a bridge.
You
So money
can.
is part of it.
Yeah.
So how do we get like past some of these hurdles?
Yeah. It is really, that is a common one that somehow, yeah, women women tend to sometimes wait until the proof of what they deserve in terms of success or progress in their business, that it's literally coming into their lap before they step forward. Um, so one of the things I think that women can do is, and this works for everybody, but find an accountability structure. And I I'm keeping it relatively open like that because there are all kinds of different structures that work for different people. Some people, if they had a coach that was like a really strong accountability partner with them, that actually would demotivate them, right? Whereas other people, maybe they have a fellow businesswoman who they're each building on their own paths, but they're holding each other accountable to their goals. Something like that. But you need a structure because the busyness of life, all of the people that you can serve and put your energy into, all of that will always be there. And you can always choose to prioritize everything else instead of your business. So if you have a structure, one of the structures that actually has worked the most for, I would say, the majority of business owners that I work with is to book a meeting every single month with your business. It can be half an hour, it can be 2 hours, whatever you need, but it is locked in time where you pull back from the busyness of your work, of your life, and you just meet with your business and your business goals, and you say, how am I doing? Where am I at? Have I followed through on the commitments that I said were important to me? What am I committing to for the next month? And so there's a repeatable structure of accountability that can keep you on track. So that when you have that beautiful January energy of like, this is what this year is going to be for me, and I'm so excited. And then you get into May and you're like, where did the last 4 months go? Right? That doesn't happen because every month for me, it's a Friday afternoon once a month. And I hold to that meeting with me and my business as if I was meeting with a client. Like I would
Yeah.
never miss a meeting with a client unless I was on death's door or my kids got, called me to the school or something. But I hold to it because I know I am absolutely one of those people that can get in the habit of prioritizing everybody else's goals and helping them with their goals over my own. So that's one idea of a structure.
So another, and I love that is hold yourself accountable, create that meeting time.
Yeah.
You know what? When if you go in and you go into, you're going for a bank loan, you go in for a grant, anything like that, it takes 6 to 10 touches before you get a yes. So assume that the first 6 times you talk to that bank, it's
Yeah.
going to fall on deaf ears. I think the big thing that we do is we give up too soon, and we don't ask why. Toddlers
Mm.
are persistent. Be a toddler. Be a toddler with your business. Be a toddler with your life. Keep asking why.
Yeah.
Why not you? Why not you? Why not me? Why not us? Right?
Not.
So, and I think things are shifting. I think things are shifting. I'm seeing, it used to be less than 3% of bank loans to women. Now it's just around 5%. I mean, that still sounds really low, but we gained a 2% increase over the last few years, so that is good. Um, one of the things that I'd like to touch on real quick before we move forward is um, self-kindness and writing. You talked about in your bio that uh, you've had this love of getting it on paper.
Mhm.
And is there a way to get not only do the writing side of things, but be able to, through the lens of self-kindness,
Mhm.
be able to start creating content
Mhm.
that can help both personally and professionally?
Yeah. Yeah, that I love how you put that. Um, Absolutely. So one of the biggest things I think that keeps people from creating content is perfectionism. and this feeling of like it has to be exactly right before I can post it or whatever. And then oftentimes they don't even try to write it because that feeling of like, well, I haven't done enough research, or maybe I'm just not a writer because I don't have a degree in English or something like, so it literally keeps them from it. So one of the things that I wish I learned 30 years ago, when I was a perfectionist writer, was that writing, when it's most powerful, the first time you write it, it's going to come out messy. Like messy writing as a first draft, that's where the feelings are. That's where the lyricism is. That's where the amazingly powerful metaphors, they come from a loose mind, a mind that's okay with being messy, right? So whatever you're writing, give yourself permission to be messy the first draft. Nobody's going to see it but you. So just let it out. Let the ideas flow and be loose and strange and who knows? Because you can always clean it up and get it ready to publish after, or to post after that first draft. But if you start with perfectionism, your mind is in like this tight, uncreative place, which means that, whatever you write it's going to feel a little bit stilted, or there's not going to be as much of you in it, which means it'll be harder for you to connect, to have your readers connect to it. So try just letting it
Ab-
flow.
Absolutely. And I and if you've listened to any of my other podcasts, you will probably hear in probably every third or fourth podcast I say this. Progress versus perfection. Progress over perfection. The
Yeah.
definition of perfection is complete. Nowhere left to go.
Mhm.
I will only hit that mark when I'm dead and they're burying me, when they're giving my eulogy, how perfect I was. The reality is, I plan to be a progress in motion every day until, you know, I no longer have that blessing of motion. And
Yeah.
that's why I want to challenge everybody is, move past the fear, embrace yourself. If you believe you're a superhero, and you know what? If you need some outside encouragement, I strongly recommend people to do a third person bio exercise. What
Mm.
this basically is you will send out to everybody, and you can write this third person bio. You can send out for your friends and family, and you can send out for your clients. And you could say, I've been asked to speak on a podcast. I need to submit a third person bio. What are the top 3 things
Mm.
that you like about me? What are the top 3 things that you believe contribute to my success? I challenge you guys to do this. Reach out to 3 people in your personal sphere, 3 people in your professional sphere.
Love
Bring that together. Write that third person bio. And then I want you actually to record that third person bio. And I want you to just record it on your phone. You don't need anything more than this, folks.
it. Right.
Record it on your phone, audio wise. And I want you to set that for your alarm each morning so you can hear how great you are every morning. I think
Yeah,
we
that's
we listen
awesome.
to the news. So write your third person. I want to challenge everybody to write their third person bio. You want 3 personal and 3 professional. You want each person to give you 3 points of why they think you're great. And then you're going to put that into a 90-word third person introduction. There's your 60 seconds, your first 60 seconds in the morning. Because I think
Amazing.
we all need that. It makes us feel good.
Yeah. And the people in our lives, they're telling the truth, right? Like these are people we trust. We know them. We know they know us. They're not just blowing, hot air up
Hot
wherever.
air.
Like,
Woo,
right?
woo, woo.
They're saying something that they 100% believe. So it's another one of those facts that you can bring to yourself when when the voices in your head are trying to say otherwise. That's why I love that. I'm going to do that too.
I encourage everybody to do it. I think I'm going to start a sideline of reading people's third person bios. So I don't know you guys tell me. What would you pay to have your third person bio read so you can listen to it every morning? Every morning. Can you imagine? I'll put a clap track around it. We'll put music around it. It's going to be like, you're running into the ring and she brings it. You got to wake up with that energy. Nobody else is going to do it for you. Let's do it. You have to do it for yourself. So let's move into this.
I
Is
love
where
it.
this this is me. This is why my husband gets up 40 minutes before me, because it takes 40 minutes and an entire like 3 coffees to get ready for when I come down the stairs, because he's not a morning person. I'm a morning person. Like, stuff is rolling. It's like, oh my God, I'm going to get this and this and this and this. And so I come downstairs, and my poor husband, who is also my business partner and life partner, it's like bam, 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 bam. So needless to say, not a dull moment when Kim is awake.
He has to be ready for the full force of,
yeah,
I love it.
and I could only be married to somebody like him, because if I was married to somebody like me, one of us would be dead. So, and then nobody needs to go to prison. So, this is where we roll into a story of resiliency. We all have those moments that, without really pulling on a deep well of resiliency, we wouldn't be on the same trajectory we're currently on. Would you share a time in your life that, be it business or professional or a little of both, whatever works for you? Because folks, we learn through story. And I guarantee you, by listening to Cari's story today, you will learn something that will help you have a better life. All yours, my dear.
Okay. Yes, resiliency. The one that came to me when Kim asked me this was in my 20s. I was in an abusive relationship for a long time, many years, and it was the invisible kind of abuse, but it takes a very deep emotional toll. So I got out of it. I got out of that relationship. But after I got out of it, I kind of kept the abuse going within my own mind. So I was berating myself from within. How could I be so stupid to stay in that kind of situation for so long? How could I lose these precious years of my life? How could I be so weak, and so on? And this was going in my head like 24/7 while I was trying to rebuild my life and reconnect to myself. And obviously it wasn't working. And this went on for a while. And then one day I remember I was sitting at the edge of a river, and I was just sitting there, and I felt like an empty bag of garbage, like just completely depleted and lost and aimless. And I was just so worn out. And as I watched the river flow and the birds and everything, an idea came into my mind, and it just said, ask yourself a question. Ask yourself a question. I thought, So the question that came to me was, what made me stay in that relationship for so long? And as I sat there looking at the river and just sitting with the question, the answers came. And I started crying, and I just sat there and I cried because what I realized was I wasn't weak or stupid. What had brought me to that relationship and kept me in it was that I was a woman who believed in love and loyalty and optimism, all these good good things that were a part of me. These were core elements, and they still are. And none of those things were bad or shameful or to be gotten rid of, right? They're all beautiful, strong things. It just so happened that I was with a person who could twist them and make them painful, right? So I sat there and I cried, and I realized I didn't need to beat myself up because I was just a good, big-hearted woman who gave to the wrong person. And that was the start for me of looking within, asking the questions. And in a lot of ways, that was the beginning of my building around self-kindness, because that's a lot of what it is just making the space to understand yourself. Yeah.
The big one is slowing down.
Yeah.
Slowing down, breathing deep,
Mm-hmm.
listening, because the answers are within. Nobody's going to come and save you until you prove that you're worth saving, and that starts with yourself. Have you ever noticed how until somebody else buys something, nobody else buys it, but when you buy it, then there's like 30 people who want to buy it? It's like that one thing on Kijiji or Craigslist or wherever you're looking, and you're going, I'm gonna, you watch it for 3-4 days, and you're gonna go get it, and then all of a sudden 20 people want it. Somebody has to start the trend on wanting you, and you have to be the one that starts that trend. So I would say that the big aha moment is listening to yourself, taking a moment and listening to yourself. And if it's garbage that's going on there and there's not gold, you're not finding any nuggets of gold, if it's all garbage, start writing that down. And if you need, burn it, shred it, run it over with your car, whatever you need to do, but get it out of your head. I know that a lot of people say don't give space, like don't write down negative. For myself personally, I need to be able to I'm like a little bit of a tank girl. I've got to be able to feel like I've blown something up, right?
Okay.
So you do what's best for you, but you know what? You need to get that garbage out of your head, and that is what's stopping you from going next level in your life. And that all originates with that self-kindness. Let's talk real quick, Cari, books. So I know you're in an upcoming book, but let's start first with your top 2 books that you think everybody should read, because you've helped several people get published also.
Yeah. So, oh man, hard to pick, but the 2 that I really find the most powerful, the first one is Self-Compassion by Kristin Neff. So obviously right in my wheelhouse, and it's beautifully written and it's very factual. So if you have that, the inner voice that's like this, all this self-kindness, self-compassion stuff is crap. Well, Kristin Neff did a lot of research, so it's a great book. And then for creative people, and it doesn't matter whether it's writing or crafting or creative podcasting, the book I really lean on the most is Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. Have you
Okay.
read
Yep.
that one?
No,
Yeah.
I have not. Big Magic.
Oh,
Okay.
it's
I'm
just
writing it down just so you
yes.
know, and
Oh,
I'm looking to see if it's in
honestly,
Audible. So
I'm
yes,
sure
there
it
we go.
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so good because it's just full of stories and examples of how you can make space in your life
Yep.
to be creative, and the richness that brings, not just to your life, but to the world, right? Like when we are free to be creative in whatever way, man, what comes of it is literally the things that bring the most joy to the most people. So if more of us could do that and give that permission, it would be a more beautiful world.
Excellent. Okay. And then you are in a book and speaking at an upcoming summit.
Yes.
So walk us through why, after helping so many people publish their own book, why now? What was the trigger for you to go ahead and put your toe in the water and put your name behind your own personal authorship?
Yeah, it's I think I think part of it is the listening to the quieter voice within. So the negative voice, sometimes I've done a lot of work on it, and I can put it aside and listen to something deeper. And the deeper voice is often the quiet voice. And for me, that quiet voice has always said something about help as many people as you can. And if I'm going to do that, I can't play small. I can't play quiet, right? I have to put myself out there. So being part of this beautiful book and the event that we're doing in March, um, it's all a part of really honoring that quiet, strong voice that's always been there. Because yeah, that's my mission, is to help as many people as I can bring kindness to themselves, because I know they're going to pass it on, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a gift that keeps on giving. It's the one gift we want that keeps on giving. All the other ones made for an interesting high school for some. I just went there. So, talk about your socials. Where can we find you?
Oh God, Kim, you're
I
hilarious.
gave her the giggles. I killed Carrie. Oh no.
Oh my God. Okay. So Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, you can find me at Self Kindness Coach. My website, cariframe.com. And you'll find lots of content there, videos, uh, yeah, lots of stuff. There's a blog on my website, so lots of
Yeah.
places to
Are
find
there
me.
any checklists or anything on your website that people can?
Yes,
All right.
yes.
What do you got
There's a
there?
couple of free sort of quiz assessment things about, can working with a coach really help me? Because a lot of the questions I get from people are like, I don't know if that's for me. I don't know what it can really do for me. So I'm like, okay, let's make a quiz around that. And then there's a self-kindness assessment there too. Um, and one thing for everyone to know is, when you connect with me, whether it's through Instagram or my website, for me, it's always about, now we're connected. And whether I'm the person that you're called to work with, or I can help you get to the person, it doesn't matter to me. It's about taking that step, something that's for you, so that you can build yourself up more and bring more of you to the world. Whatever I can do to help that, I will.
Awesome. Awesome. I love the fact that you're not going to play small, that you are in it to win it. Okay. So, I'm just full of it. I'm sure, yeah, never mind. My spirit animal, my spirit guide is like Johnny Carson, folks. So there's no filters. Um,
That's why we
Car-
love you.
Thank you. I will take that. And folks, when somebody says we love you, or wow, you've got great hair, or wow, you've got great eyes, or anything, say thank you. Say thank you. Don't shy away from those compliments. We're horrible at accepting compliments. Um,
Do you know what I'd
quote.
actually say to folks? Think of it like, especially if the compliment is coming from someone, you know it's genuine. Think of it like a drop of medicine. They are giving you a drop of medicine. Take it in. Take it in. Receive it like medicine, because they're telling you what they feel is true.
Yeah, and by receiving gracefully, it also makes the other person feel good.
Totally, you've given them a
Yeah,
gift. Yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. Share with us a quote. Close us out today on a quote.
sure. Yeah, quote that I love. Mahatma Gandhi. And he said, I wrote it down because I knew I'd be nervous and forget. Live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were going to live forever.
And the crowd goes wild. That is awesome. That is a great, great quote. I think that what's most important is you see that one identifiable word in there. Live. Live, folks. Don't
Yes.
hide. Don't
Live
go
and
down the
learn.
scroll hole of social media and, buy all the swampland people are selling you. Step out into the light, step away from your screen, start interacting, engaging, learn every day. Learn something every day. Um, the world needs you.
The world needs you. Yes.
The world needs you. All right, folks. That's it for Kim Talks Resilience. I am so very grateful that you chose this flight. Oh, I mean, this podcast. So hopefully you didn't get off mid flight. But yeah, so you know what, folks? If you ever feel that your resiliency is lagging, even that wee bit, I want you to listen and lean into our resilient community. You can go to resilientgift.com, sign up. You'll get notices once a month as to like current magazine, what's being launched, is there an event coming up? We always have, we address those barrier of access and ensure that there's always a free access, be it the membership, be it the event. We're always going to accommodate you because we want you to grow. We want you to go next level because if more of us are out in front, leading resiliently, looking at those around us and helping them up and leaving those crumbs of success clues behind us, then we all move forward. As a girlfriend of mine said, rising tides raise all ships. So you know what? Let's rise those tides, babies. Let's make this happen. Until next time, you know what? Be kind to yourself. Thank you for joining us here today at Kim Talks Resilience. I'm your host, Kim Hayden, and I'd love to invite you to our resilient community at resilientgift.com. That's resilientgift.com, and we'll send you our magazine and tickets for upcoming events and all sorts of cool things we do here. So be sure to keep watching, and you know what? Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share, because we all know that sharing is caring.